We're an Arabic arts organization that works in the domains of arts presentation, arts education, and arts-propelled civic engagement. We have been around for about 20 years, and in this location for about 3 years. Here we hold a number of activities, including, as you see, an art exhibit. There typically is one up at any point in the year, and we'll be switching up our fine art exhibit the coming weekend, as I understand, sir. Yeah. December 3rd, I believe, or December 2nd, we'll be putting up the new exhibit by Mustafa Darwish. And that'll be actually our upcoming event. Following that, on November 11th, we have a concert by Marwan Kamil, oudist, and other instrumentalist, along with Julius Masri, local percussionist, who will be sort of performing kind of an interplay between psychedelic and electronic music and maqams, or Middle Eastern musical forms. That should take place, as I mentioned, on November 11th, not here, but in a venue called Pageant Soloviv. Is it South Philadelphia?
It's between South and Old City.
It's between South and Old City. So please check that out. It should be, I think, at 7:30 or 8 p.m. on that day. That, I think, rounds out our next 2 or 3 events. You're welcome to participate and attend. And of course, linger please after the reading. We're serving savory and sweet treats and coffee in there. We would have served it beforehand, but we wanted to maintain your focus on on our current event and on our presenter, Ustadha Faleeha Hassan. We have a great pleasure to invite her here from New Jersey to read to us from her translated memoir, War on Me. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for Al-Bustan. Thank you for all of you, because this is the first time I'm going to read in Arabic organization. I didn't do that before, even been here like 10 years, but no one invited me to do any talk or book signing with any Arabic organization. I thank you so much for this great opportunity. My name is Faleeha Hassan. I am a poet, writer, teacher. I spent 24 years teaching Arabic language in my country. I have master's degree in Arabic language, and I did taught for 24 years. I did publish 25 books, and my 26th book is coming soon in April.
Inshallah.
I say soon, but it's next year on April. It's poetry book. And yeah, I live here with my 2 kids. Actually, I remember on my first day in Najaf, in my middle school, our government, they decided to close all the schools for 10 days until certain victory over the Iraqi-Iran war was announced. But this war didn't end by 10 days. It lasts for 8 years. And all my friends and my relatives, they are either killed or missing in this war. While poetry comes easily for me, because I did publish my first poetry book in 1991, I have long dreamed to publish a memoir book about this, horrible memory I have, me and my friend and my family endured. And because there is so many hidden events in war, and the writer must be right about them, then the rulers maybe think 1,000 times before they start a new war. I'm thrilled that my book right now is available for all English readers. And those who are, and I hope every reader will find what they like. Those who they are, curious to know about the Iraqi family during the Iraqi-Iran war, they will find how the family suffered from starvation, from and disease, and how they are facing death almost every day. And those who are like adventure, they will see, or they will find the characters. They went to the battlefields looking for their brothers or fathers. And those who are curious to learn about a different culture, they will see the rich culture of the Iraqi culture and custom, and how the Iraqi society deals with death and living. But the important thing in this book, you will see how the war affects innocent people, whether they are soldiers, women, or just kids. Thank you. If you like, I can read some of like a short chapter from my book, and then I am going to, wait to your question, and I hope I can answer all the questions. In this part, I am going to read when I was in battlefields looking for my brother in Basra. Basra is a south city of Iraq, and the most, it's a border between Iran and Iraq, and all the wars, they call it the Al-Janib Al-Sharqi, all these wars happen in this city. Then I returned to the woman beside me and said, "Auntie, my brother is soldier in Basra and hasn't had leave for months. So I have come to search about him. I have come to search for him. Where do you think I would find him?" My words surprised the woman, and her face clearly showed her astonishment. "All the same," she quickly replied as she stood up, "I believe he's in Al-Faw. Many soldiers are in Al-Faw now. Most of its population has deserted Al-Faw since Saddam war with Iran. We have important business in Al-Faw, and I have been looking for hours for a driver who will take us there. Most drivers have refused. They say the road is long and dangerous too." The other woman interrupted her, saying, "It's south of Basra." I did not hesitate and quickly asked them, "May I go with you to Al-Faw?" "My God, niece, the matter not that easy. You are welcome to come with us, but what I ask you is whether you can approach the military units all by yourself. The situation is very dangerous. We are at war, and death is certain." I did not want to listen to the advice of that woman who had started to warn me against the dangers of death and war while she was risking her life, her husband's life, and her sister's. The man returned quickly, and his wife told him about my situation and my desire to accompany them to Al-Faw. He seemed not all troubled by the matter, so we three ladies followed the man as he sped away. A moment later, the man pointed to a little old taxi and said, "That's the car." We climbed into the dilapidated taxi. The man was in the front seat, and I sat with the two women in the rear. Before we departed, the driver asked all of us to pray to and for the Prophet Muhammad, may God bless him and grant him peace, and to recite the Fatiha, the opening surah of the Quran, to facilitate our trip. After we had done that, he launched into discussion with the elderly man about current events in Iraq, while the two women chatted about family matters almost in whisper. I looked out the window at the deserted road that the vehicle was trying to traverse. Signs of devastation were clearly apparent, and the remains of military machinery abandoned beside the road. There were rusty carcasses of trucks and the large tubs of tankers. Huge wheels were scattered here and there, in addition to sandbags that soldiers had used to shelter behind during bombardment. We seemed to be approaching a land where many battles had been fought. I don't know how far we had penetrated into the region by ourselves when a military truck appeared like a mirage on the horizon. When the truck drew near, we found that it was filled with soldiers. One of them noticed our vehicle heading in the opposite direction and gestured to us, signaling with his hand to turn around, "Go back where you came from." But the driver was busy talking to the passenger seated beside him, and he did not notice that soldier, so he drove on the same direction. I started gazing at the departing truck with astonishment, because all the soldiers sitting in it looked identical. Someone seeing them from a distance would think they were all a single soldier with a multiple incarnation. Only a few minutes later, another truck appeared on the horizon, carrying soldiers, fewer than there had been in the previous one. The moment those soldiers spotted our vehicle heading their way, most of them being waving at us, asking us to turn and head back where we had come from. This time, the driver did notice and slammed on the brakes, stopping the car immediately. His head and that of the passenger beside him almost collided with the windshield. For the three of us women, our backs and heads soared several times in the air in reaction to this abrupt stop before settling back down on the seat. The vehicle sat where it was for some moments before the driver attempted to turn it around and head back where we had come from. Then everyone inside the car seemed to be speaking at once, and I could not distinguish what was being said except for the emphatic words that leapt from the mouth of the woman beside me, "Turn, take us back. We don't want to die here." The driver's anxiety increased then. He wants to turn the vehicle around as quickly as possible and began to talk to himself in audible voice. I knew that coming here was a huge dangerous. "Lord, shield us and forgive us, save us." The driver Meanwhile, the man sitting up front was trying to calm the driver by repeating, "Say, oh Lord, say, oh Lord." The woman on the far side of the rear seat did not stop saying, "Oh, concealer, oh Lord, oh concealer, oh Lord." For my part, I experienced moments of sheer panic, but silently. My sense of myself as an educated woman may have restrained me from displaying my fear openly, even though it had shuffled up my body. I convinced myself that if I die and was buried here in this land, any surviving passenger would testify to the courage I had displayed, even if that courage had been phony and superficial. The wheels of the vehicle turned very rapidly on the left, and the entire vehicle tilted to the side I was on. The door beside me swung open all by itself, and I would have fallen out if the woman next to me had not grasped my body with both hands as she shouted angrily to the driver, "Watch out, we all die, Allahu Akbar." It took several minutes, but eventually the driver was able to turn the car around and stop in the middle of the road. He jumped out and closed the door that was hanging open, while my trembling body was coiled up in a ball, adhering to the body of the old woman who had saved me with her vigilance and courage from being crushed to death. Once the driver shut the open door, we all required a moment of calm, a time out from thinking about what had happened or still might happen. The driver needed this most. He rested his elbow for a moment on the hood of the car. Then he began searching his pocket furtively for something. I deduced from the ignited motion of his finger that he was looking for a pack of cigarettes, in hopes to setting fire to this moment and turning it into a puff of smoke. But a reverberating sound punched out eardrums and shook the car as violently as if the ground beneath it had been rocked by an earthquake. The driver was panic-stricken, but before he climbed back into the vehicle, he ran around it once more to check that my door, which he had just shut, was still firmly closed. Then he tried to start the engine, but nothing happened. He tried again, and it refused to turn over. The sound of reverberating explosion were repeated several more times, while the two women's screaming rang out. The two men were not silent either. They began to curse the war and those who had ignited. For my part, I began to pray to God silently to save us from this trial. Even its feeling tormented me that I can summarize as the sense that this car had stopped in the middle of the road here to force me to witness some mighty event, which I hoped would not occur. The driver asked all of us to get out of the car and push it while he remained inside and tried to start it several more times. We pushed it with all our might as the driver poked his head out the window and shouted, "Harder, push harder." The moment we heard the engine start again, before we climbing back into the seats, we noticed in the direction another truckload of soldiers trying to retreat in our same road. The driver asked us to be quick about climbing back in, but another terrifying, reverberating sound cut us off ground and shocked our feet to the ground. Even as the reverberating continued to deafen our ears, an artillery shell flew high overhead and landed on the truck, turning the soldier into body parts dispersed in every direction. I did not know how I climbed back into the car or how it shut off with us to return. The only things that stick in my memory as a human remains flying through the air while the two ladies pounded their heads and wheeled. The man removed his headband and sank into silence. As our car put a lot of distance between it and the scene of the disaster we had witnessed, all the same, I turned to look back and found the truck had become a terrifying ball of flame. Thank you. Yes. Now I am ready to any question. Yes.
The area you went to is called Al-Fal.
Fal.
And this was the front
Yes.
During the Iran-Iraq war?
Yes.
So we're talking mid-80s here?
Yeah, because my brother, he was, almost like the end of the
Right at the front of the
18.
war?
Yeah.
And how is it that you managed to get so close to the battlefront?
Because, I don't know, because I was very, actually the story is my mom, she was sick. She has a heart disease. And my father was fighting in the north. And my brother, he was fighting in the south. That's why I said, if I go to my father, like searching about my father, that's impossible because they fighting in a mountain, and I'm not familiar with these places. But to go searching about my brother, that's easy for me. That's in my mind. I don't, I'm not saying I'm not mature enough to desire which way, because I'm not going to stay to say like watching my mom dying. And I was looking for any news about my brother, anything that's make her feel better. That's why I went to the Basra, then to the Fao. I was lucky because there's these women take me with them, but unfortunately I didn't find my brother, and I returned home with abaya. It's like and broken shoes, like both because I was it's not heeled, but like short shoes, like short heels, but both of them they are broken when I came, because in like even in like I'm still don't know why. It's not why I did that, but how are like I have all these courage to go and search about my brother, and believe me, like it's like 1 year ago, my sister, she reminded me this event, and we was laughing. She said, "Oh my God, I didn't know if my mom find out about that and what's her reaction."
Did you lose your father also?
My father
Yeah.
was in different battlefields. He was in north.
But you saw him?
In another war, like they call it Najaf war, the Bahr al-Najaf. I went to searching about my father twice, and then I forced him to come with me by saying, my mom, she's like, also she was very like almost dying, and I said, if you don't come with me, I'm going to stay with you here. But then he came. But the moment we left the place, the Bahr al-Najaf war, there is a big permanent, and all his the soldier with him, they all die. But the moment, like you just imagine, like we just left, and there's the Apache came and they destroyed the place. Apaches, yes, by
The
Apache.
Iranians, huh?
No, it's not Iranian. Yeah. Yes.
I'm curious, like, as someone who's like lived through so much and then also written 26 books, can you talk a little bit about like what you see as like the possibility of like books and writing in the face of horrible things like war? Like why do you turn to writing when processing these
Yes.
things?
I think for me, writing, sometimes I feel writing is my destiny. Another time I feel writing is like I choose to be writer, just to like to heal myself by writing, and that's also because it's not. Like I was living with war since I was a teenage, and like in 1980 until now, and I never felt in peace. And my writing was like it's like therapy and my medicine, just to heal myself and by writing. That's why I did write so many books, poetry, novel, memoir. Yes, because it's not. I don't know if some people know that not every Arabic people love to go to the therapist and talk to him. And if you go right now in Middle East, if they said I have therapist, they said, oh my God, or she's crazy, and it's not easy. Also here it's not cheap to go and talk, and but by writing, I still healing myself by that. Yeah. That's why I'm writing a lot. Thank you. Yes.
With the bombing that's now going on in Gaza, most of us haven't been in a situation like that, but you have been in something parallel to it. And how, in this present day, these weeks, how does that impact you these years later to have these firsthand experiences and see this?
Yes, I feel sad, especially for the innocent people, for kids, for women, because they are just they are between. And I was like, I have the same situation when I was during the Iraqi-Iran, when every time I hear the siren, I feel scared. and not just me, my mom, my kid, like my brother and sister, and we was looking for shelter, and we don't, because we live in apartment, we don't have shelters to go. And even like downstairs, there's another family living there and downstairs, and they use the downstairs just shelter. And I remember also my sister, every time she will hear the siren, she will go to the closet and lock herself there because there's no way we can, we can survive. And like everyone has his way to survive. Like my grandma, she will pray for us and our safety. And I think that the same scenario happen every day. It's like, and we don't have any solution. We still pray to survive, and nothing else we can do. Yes.
What are your thoughts on how living through something that level of trauma, what did you see in society after? What were the signs? You're talking about like your personal experience, and maybe you're situating us during the time, but what does it feel like when things become quiet again, and how does that affect us personally, your own person, your family, but also society in general, having been through that experience?
If you're talking about the Iraqi society, we face in this war for a long time, because it's like we never get break from war. Like the Iraqi-Iran war lasted for 8 years. Then we have another war, it's called Gulf War, for 1.5 years. And my brother, he came from Kuwait, not by himself, but so many soldiers with him, and my cousins also. They came from Kuwait to Iraq walking. And after that, we have a injustice blockade for 12 years. That means we don't see any, like even if you have like a little bit from, let's say, peaceful or quiet moment, there's something coming. I never witnessed peaceful in my life. Even here, I'm still facing so many terrible things. But this is life. Well, what should we do? Like we have a very, it's like even if we live long time, it's still short. And if we can make any change by ourselves, because we don't have the power to change or magical thing to do this. But I wish everyone will be living peaceful and quiet. Yes.
Another question, if I may.
Yeah.
So this memoir was written in Arabic?
Yes.
Translated?
Yes.
Please tell us about your experience with translation. I noticed when you were reading, you said something along the lines of Al-Fatiha, the first surah in the Quran. And I figured that if this were in Arabic, you probably wouldn't have to explain that it was the first surah in the Quran.
Of course.
So that brought to mind maybe some of the decisions that you made in this book's being translated from Arabic.
Yes. I was dreaming to write my, actually, like if you can read the book, if you like to read book, you will see like the dream I dream about is coming true. One of these dreams, I was in Iraq, in Najaf, my city, and I dreamt I was in public library looking for a poet. It's not it's a collection book, and I asked about the poet's name, but the librarian said we sold out. There's no we don't have anything yet. Now, and but before I leave the library, she called my name, and she said, "Faleeha, come here. I am going to give you this pen." This box. She gave me the box. I open it, and it has a pen. She said, write our history. And then I wake up. And then in my mind, I can't write anyone's history, but at least I can write my history. And from this moment, I was dreaming to write my memoir. I met Professor William Hashking online 2016. And I sent him my poem for translation before I start writing my poetry in Arabic language. Actually, when I came here in 2012, I came with zero English. I came just speak Arabic, that's it. And then I met this guy online, the Professor William, and he said, he did translate my poem, he did publish it, like I did publish it in different magazine and newspaper. And then I told him, I have a dream to write my memoir. Do you know anyone, can accept this idea or this project? I said, okay, give me 1 week. I have a friend, her name, Gabriella, and she's working with Amazon. And I don't know, maybe she will, say yes, we go into. And then after 1 week, I received email from him, introduced me to Gabriella. She said, of course, if you have any proposal in Arabic, you just send it to me. Send it to Professor William to translate it, then he will send it to me. I did that, and then I received phone call from her. She said, I remember what she said. She said, Faleeha, what's your name of your book? What do you think? I told her, I have title in my, it's called War and Me. She said, oh my God, I dreamt I'm reading your book and it's called War and Me. And she said, I'm going to send this proposal to my company and just let's see what they said. Then I received another phone call from her. She said, they accepted from the first time. And we decided to publish your book. And then, to written the book in Arabic, it took 1 year. And also another year to translate it. But Professor William, every time he will have something, he's very fluent in Arabic language. But sometimes you will see the Iraqi dialogue, and because I am from Iraq. We have, for example, a cookie, but it's not cookie. We call it kleja. In Iraq, we call it kleja. In different Arabic country, they call it ma'moul sometimes. When he translates, yes, when he translated, he will say cookies. I said, no, it's not cookies. It's different. It's a kleja. And he said, okay. I sent him the picture of the kleja. And that's why you will see some Arabic, like Fatiha. I don't say it's opening surah because it's Fatiha. It's called Fatiha from Quran. And also another lady, she did reading the book in audio book. Yeah. And she's an artist, she's an actor. She's acts in Blacklist, the series. She did very fantastic job, but before she do that, they send me a sample, but she did some mistake for abaya. She can't say it because she's from Lebanon, but she's born here. That's why I said, okay, before you do that, send me all the Iraqi dialogue words, and I'm going to send, it's not just write it, also to record it to you in Arabic, Iraqi dialogue, then I send it to you. And we could, after that, They sent me 1,000 words, and I did recorded them, and I sent it them, and you know how long it takes me to do that, but she did very good job for that. Yeah, and then after Professor William, translate all the manuscript, I made a clay gel, and I sent it to him just to test it. Him and also Gabriel, just to test it. Yeah, because in Arabic, every country has his sweet, tradition, how they prepare that, even if it has the same name, but it's different. Yeah. For example, in Iraq, we can make kleja just with dates. Sometimes we have walnuts, but the majority with dates. In different countries, they have it with honey, pistachio. We don't have